going on, everybody? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And today it's time to talk about the St. Louis Cardinals and what they need to do with the trade deadline looming. But first, I need you guys to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. All right, David, trade deadline, August 1st, a week away as of us filming this. It's clear the Cardinals are going to be sellers. They're not in contention for anything. A half game out of last place after the Cubs series. And even if they were a little bit closer, we both agree, I think, that they need to be selling just because they need to get all the pitching they can get because they don't have anything for next year.
Yeah, we have potentially 3 contracts that are up or people moved, if you will, because I'm assuming they're going to trade Jordan Montgomery and Jack Flaherty unless they're able to resign one of them, but I don't think they will. Because of that, there's just a dire need. And then you have Wainwright retiring, so there's another spot open.
Yeah, the Cardinals tried the Zach Thompson experiment down in Memphis. His ERA was like 9. And then they brought him back up, and he's not doing much better as a reliever. So I think that experiment is a failure. Cardinals remain 3 starters away from just fielding a rotation, much less a good one. So the Cardinals, I think, are going to have to deal Montgomery and Flaherty, which seems counterintuitive pitching. They're not going to re-sign them. So you're looking at Montgomery, perhaps the best left-handed starter available, and Jack Flaherty, a top of the rotation kind of guy. Everybody knows what he's capable of. He's pitching like kind of maybe an ace on some days, maybe a good solid 2 in your rotation on other days. So the Cardinals can get guys, maybe some pitching prospects, or maybe even some long relievers that might be able to have been starters, something that the Cardinals can look to start building a rotation for next year. So I think that's what the Cardinals need to focus on, is getting 5 guys that they can have for a starting rotation.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'd even throw in one other pitcher who's not a starter, and that's Jordan Hicks. His contract's up, and I don't think the Cardinals will pay him only because he's going to command a lot of money as a closer, and until they have a rotation, there's no point in having a solid closer. So they could easily get something for him, especially for a team in the running for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tricky for the Cardinals. You got to trade two pitchers away, maybe 3 with Hicks. You're trading 2 or 3 guys away who are pitching, but you need pitching. So it comes down to prospects, I think, for the pitchers. But then you look to the rest of the roster, and you're looking at who you might be able to deal to get somebody who is a starting pitcher with club control. So, you look at the rotation right now. You have Steven Matz, who's going to get every opportunity to be a starter. Just because the front office paid him that contract, they will insist on him getting every chance to be a starter. Miles Mikolas, a little bit of the same thing, but he's at least pitched well enough to belong in the starting rotation for the most part.
We do have a possibility of 2 outfielders that could get traded with Tyler O'Neill and Carlson. Yeah. So they have a lot of moves. And then you have DeYoung at shortstop, who's been solid this year for the most part. So maybe you could get something out of him too, with Mason Wynn and the Wings down in AAA waiting to get called up. So they have the ability to move some pieces who have club control already to get some pitchers, or a couple of pitchers, or a pitcher and some prospects with club control. It'll just be interesting to see who's willing to make the deal and what we have to give up to get those players.
I think it also just goes to show there are not many players who are, untouchable on this roster. I think you're looking at Jordan Walker. I think you're looking at Lars Nootbaar, Matz, and Mikolas out of necessity, just because you got to get 5 pitchers somewhere, so you're not touching them, and you wouldn't get anything for them. And then I would argue one of Tommy Edman or Brendan Donovan. I think those 5, 6, whatever you want to call Edman Donovan, those are the only guys you're not touching. Everybody else, I think, is fair game. But I think for the Cardinals, the upshot is they got to get starting pitching just to put together a roster to have somebody to throw every single game, right? And what I would do, just to wrap this up, what I would do is I would trade Flaherty and Montgomery. You're not signing them anyway. Trade them, get prospects, ideally pitching prospects, and then trade some combination of DeYoung and Carlson, or DeYoung and Edman, maybe even, to get a solid, maybe even 2 or 3 type of guy in the rotation. I don't think the Cardinals are going to trade for an ace. No one's going to do that. So I think you build up kind of the bulk of your rotation that way, and then I would go get the big fish, go get your ace in free agency, and just hope that the results are better than what the Cardinals have done in free agency over the last number of years.
Yeah, all that would make sense. It's just a matter of who's willing to deal what and what Mozeliak wants to go after. However, it's going to be interesting. We got a week. Anything can happen in that week's time. We'll keep you up to date in all information regarding trades. So just keep an eye on Under the Arch Sports, and hopefully we have some good news or news you may or may not like. Who knows? Just stay tuned. It's going to be a wild ride coming up to the trade deadline. Thank you for watching.